What is going on, guys? This is Joey. I'm coming at you another video today. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 alternative foods for your plecos or your algae eaters. So for the most part, a lot of us hobbyists, we know that fish eats, flakes, and especially plecos and algae eaters, they can eat algae wafers, other random foods that could be bought at any pet store. But what you don't know is you can actually use vegetables that you get to feed your plecos or your algae eaters. So here's my top 5 list of things that you can get at the grocery stores that you can use for your plecos or your algae eaters. Number 5 goes to dry seaweed. Now you probably are using this already if you have a reef tank, and especially if you have tangs or any herbivore or omnivore fish that likes to munch on seaweed. But you probably didn't know that you can actually feed seaweed to your plecos or your algae eaters. The one thing you gotta be careful about with dry seaweed is, especially if you buy it from just any local market, especially like a food market where you can actually consume, is read the label. Some dry seaweed will actually have additives like salt or something to give an additional flavor for us to eat and actually enjoy it. So if you want to use it for your plecos or your algae eaters, just make sure that there's no additives to the seaweed. If you want safe, legit, dried seaweed, just stop by any local pet store, and if they carry marine fish, they'll most likely carry dry seaweed as well. Now with dry seaweed, the one benefit with this is it disintegrates pretty fast so that your algae eaters or plecos can consume it really fast so they can digest it really easily. The drawback to that is you literally have to probably take it out in a couple hours if they don't finish it, because literally it just disintegrates and explodes literally everywhere in your tank. Alright, number 4. Number 4 goes to kale. Now all you guys know, kale is healthy for us and actually is really good for your fish as well. Now the one thing I really like about kale is it's a really tough leaf. So when you put it under water, it takes some time to actually dissolve and disintegrate, so actually you can leave the kale leaf in for about a day or 2 days before you actually need to take it out. I personally have just started experimenting with kale, so my plecos are just barely getting used to eating the kale, but from what I've seen so far, they do enjoy eating the kale. Alright, number 3. Number 3 goes to cucumbers. Now cucumbers, a lot of people already consume cucumbers, so if you're already buying cucumbers to eat, might as well just cut a piece and give it to your plecos. Now the one thing I would like about cucumbers, it's really easy to cut up. You can cut up into big chunks or big strips, and it's really easy to dissolve, so in a couple hours it'll get really soft where the plecos can eat and digest it pretty easily. What I like to do with the cucumbers, I like to just kind of stick something that can hold it down and just kind of toss it down into the tank, and it'll just sink with the cucumbers. Another good thing with cucumbers is if you have an excess amount of cubes, you can go ahead and freeze it and use it another day as well. So number 2 goes to spinach. Spinach is a very popular veggie, especially for algae eaters and plecos. Now spinach is so cheap that you can get it really anywhere. You can get like a bundle of spinach at the local market for only like $1 or less when it's on sale. Now with the spinach, the one good thing about spinach is it'll last you the whole week if you kept it in the fridge. If you freeze it, it'll probably last you a little bit longer. Now the one thing with spinach is the spinach is already pretty soft, but it's not soft enough where it'll disintegrate on you within a couple hours. So generally for me, I would leave the spinach in probably about a day or 2 before I actually would take it out. And as you can see here, the plecos are enjoying the spinach. So with picky eaters, spinach is one of the veggies that I actually recommend to hobbyists to try, especially if it's a primary herbivore type fish that actually needs veggies in its diet. Alright, moving on to number 1. Number 1 is my personal favorite veggie, and since I buy it literally probably every week, I tend to feed it to my plecos as well. So number 1 goes to baby bok choy. If you guys don't know what baby bok choy is, it's an Asian type veggie that is cooked in actually a lot of meals, and it has a really nice crunch texture to it. Now most markets will actually carry this because it's really popular. If you can't find it at your local market, try an Asian market. They'll have it in plentiful. It's actually very cheap to get. It's not really pricey at all. The one thing I like about this is because it's tough and hard, you can actually leave this in probably 2 to 3 days before I actually have to take it out. Now with my plecos, it actually took maybe the second try before they actually started taking it. Like any new type of food that you introduce to your tanks, your fish will be kind of wary about it and actually will take them a couple days or a couple tries before they actually take it. But once they actually take it, they actually will destroy these veggies that are on this list. Now there's tons of other veggies that are not included on the list that you can definitely try, like for example zucchini, tomatoes, sweet potatoes. There's a ton of things that you can give to your plecos. These are my personal top 5 just because 1, I have them in hand, and 2, either I have them or I bought them for something else and I'm just there to use it just in addition. Alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed my top 5 list for alternative foods for your plecos or your algae eaters. Let me know what your top 5 list is for your algae eater or your plecos. Leave them in the comments below, and until next time guys, peace.